Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Just give me one moment to set this up. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to BCIT's Big Info session, BCIT 101. So before we get started, I would firstly like to acknowledge that we are in the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So the agenda for this evening will be as follows. From 4 p.m. to 5:10 p.m., I will be presenting information on BCIT, full-time studies programs, flexible learning programs and courses, and the admissions process. There will also be a Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. From 5:20 to 6 p.m., Student Success will be presenting. And from 6:10 to 6:40 p.m., International Services will be presenting. And then from 6:50 to 7:20 p.m., Indigenous Initiatives will be presenting. So on a side note, this session is being recorded, as you probably noticed, and will be posted on BCIT's YouTube channel within approximately 1 week. I do hope that everyone enjoys today's virtual Big Info sessions. So thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Maggie Ostrowski, and I'm a program advisor for full-time studies programs here at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. This session will provide you with valuable information regarding BCIT, the programs and courses that we offer, and our admissions process. During this session, you may use the Q&A feature that you'll see either at the bottom center or on the side of your screen. We do have staff available behind the scenes to answer your questions, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. My colleagues Jesse and Maninder will be behind the scenes responding to questions regarding full-time studies programs, and my colleagues Sandra and Vanny will be responding to questions regarding flexible learning programs and courses. Feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A during the presentation. However, there will also be time after this presentation if there are any additional questions, which we'll be happy to answer for you. But please note that the Zoom Q&A does not function like a chat. So each time you do send us a question, you'll need to state if you're a domestic or an international student and the name of the program or course you're interested in. This will ensure that we give you the most accurate information possible. And do keep in mind, this Q&A feature is for more straightforward questions. If you have multiple questions or more complex questions, we encourage you to send us an email. So BCIT is a very unique post-secondary institute. Our programs and courses are developed through close consultation with industry and are delivered by instructors who have direct hands-on experience in their fields. In your studies, you will gain the technical skills, real-world experience, and problem-solving abilities that are needed to hit the ground running in your future career. We offer more than just higher education, where your first step towards a rewarding career, the step up to a promotion or a change to a new profession. With over 50,000 students enrolled each year, BCIT is one of BC's largest post-secondary institutes. You can choose from more than 300 programs and take advantage of full-time or flexible learning study options. BCIT is a sound investment. So what sets BCIT apart can be summed up in 2 words: applied learning. Polytechnic institutions such as BCIT combine theoretical education with practical skills training. In short, this does mean that you students will learn by doing. As well, students can learn from instructors who are industry experts, and they have the chance to network with the industry leaders and take on projects designed by local and even international employers. So throughout this presentation, you will see images of our students gaining real-world experience needed for their future career. So if you're wondering why graduates are so successful, it's because of this practical experience they gain within BCIT's programs. And this is also one of the reasons why Amanda Gomez, seen on the ladder in the image on this slide, chose to study civil engineering here at BCIT. So BCIT is located in beautiful British Columbia and operates across 5 main campuses in and around Vancouver. I'll go over each of these campus locations in more detail. So our main campus is the Burnaby campus. It's the largest campus and is home to hundreds of specialized learning spaces, including classrooms, shops, labs, simulators, broadcast studios, green roofs, energy grids, forests, and waterways. Located in the heart of Vancouver's business and tech core, the downtown campus is home to the state-of-the-art Technology Education and Collaboration, or Tech Hub, an innovative IT learning space. At this campus, we offer many of our full-time studies IT programs. Additionally, many of our flexible learning IT and business-related courses are available at the downtown campus. Our Marine campus is located in North Vancouver and is the center of training for the maritime industry in Western Canada. We offer programs in navigation, marine engineering, seamanship, and maritime safety and security. Our state-of-the-art aerospace technology campus is located in Richmond. This campus has a 40,000 square foot hangar housing BCIT's fleet of aircraft, which includes light and medium helicopters. And BCIT's Annacis Island campus is located in Delta. This facility is home to motive power programs that provide training for heavy mechanical trades, railway conductors, and forklift operators. So BCIT delivers programs and courses to students through 6 distinct areas of study. So I'm going to go over each one of these in brief. For our applied and natural sciences area, there's over 30 programs to choose from. Whether it's helping remote communities switch from diesel power to clean energy, gathering and analyzing intelligence on criminal activity, or restoring damaged ecosystems, you'll learn using the latest technologies so you can lead change in dozens of industries. One of the largest in Western Canada, our School of Business and Media offers more than 30 full-time and more than 90 flexible learning programs. Graduates have the knowledge and hands-on experience to tackle challenging business scenarios across many different industries. The School of Computing and Academic Studies prepares students for the future. BCIT grads are shaping the tech industry online and around the world, running the IT networks that connect us globally, protecting our privacy against cyber threats, and building the apps that we rely on every day. BCIT offers innovative degree and diploma options in mechanical, electrical, civil, and mining engineering. Whichever field you choose, you'll be in a profession that will help unlock new energy efficiencies and develop growing sustainable cities. So within our School of Health Sciences, we offer health education unmatched by any other post-secondary institution. As a BCIT Health Sciences student, you will learn by using simulation technology and by practicing your skills in real clinical and laboratory settings. In our brand new state-of-the-art Health Sciences Center, students can practice simulations that replicate hospital workflows, learn at an electronic health recording station, hone their skills in the center's living laboratories, and actually also unwind in the rooftop garden. So our last area of studies is our trades, technical, and apprenticeship area. We offer more trades training programs than any other school within BC. Programs including electrical, carpentry, joinery, metal fabrication, piping, sheet metal, ironworking, boilermaker, marine fitting, and welding, just to name a few. And you can learn more about our programs on our website, and feel free to attend the program-specific information sessions that we offer throughout the year. So let's go over full-time studies. So full-time studies programs generally run Monday through Friday. Our classes are typically between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., although those times can vary depending on your program. And a really great feature of full-time studies is that you never need to worry about registering individually for courses. BCIT takes care of this for you each term. So once you're accepted, you're automatically registered into all of the courses you need. Each term, you'll take a full set of courses that have been specifically chosen to lead you towards your career goal. So at BCIT, our unique cohort model and small class sizes ensure you truly connect with your peers. You'll take all of your classes with the group you have been placed in. So typical class size for a 2-year technology diploma program would be about 20 to 25 students. And a typical class size in a trades and technical program would be about 16 students. And then working within groups of about 2 to 10 students, you'll tackle group assignments and projects, just like you will when you get a job in that industry. As well, our small class sizes mean you get more one-on-one attention from faculty, and you'll have a network of peers for assistance within the school and outside of school. Your cohort truly does become your family. So a helpful spot on the website to start researching BCIT programs is the program availability page, as you'll see on this slide. You can check to see which programs are currently open or available for upcoming intakes by completing a search for program availability on the BCIT website, bcit.ca. This page allows individuals to pull up a list showing which programs are currently open to applications versus those that may be closed or waitlisting. This is especially true for our trades programs. So once you have a program in mind, you can look up that program from the search on the homepage at bcit.ca, and then click on the entrance requirements section found on the left-hand side of the program webpage to view the specific requirements and application timelines outlined for that program. Let's go over the admissions models now. So at BCIT, we have 3 types of admissions models. The first one will be the first qualified non-competitive model. So for programs with this model, there are actually no formal application deadline dates. The applications are accepted up until the program fills. So we do recommend applying early for programs with this model, as many will fill quite soon after the applications are open. BCIT programs are not large in size, and therefore limited seats are available overall. Many programs within the School of Business and Media, Applied Natural Sciences, and some within the School of Engineering use this non-competitive model. The second is our competitive model. Programs with a competitive application process will generally require that applicants have additional courses and skills on top of the academic entrance requirements that are listed. There are programs where, these are programs rather, where you compete with other applicants for a seat. Our health sciences programs and some of our engineering programs use this model. We do encourage you to connect with a program advisor if you're interested in a competitive entry program for more details on the preferred requirements. And we can definitely help you with that. And lastly is our waitlist model. So most of our trades and technical programs will use this model. For these programs, applications are accepted throughout the year, and these programs will have various start dates in the year as well. Waitlists for these programs can vary from 6 months to a year. However, for some programs, it could be shorter or longer. Now let's go over the application steps. So the first step would be obviously to choose a BCIT program that interests you. Once you've done that, spend some time reviewing the entrance requirements for that program. At BCIT, the entrance requirements are program specific. So you can also check the application processing dates, which also will differ from one program to another. It will be necessary to convert official transcripts and any additional documents that may be required into PDF files. There will be information under the admissions tab on the How to Apply section, which will assist applicants in preparing their documents. The nice thing about the application process, the online application process, is applicants can work on filling out the application at their own pace. You can start an application and return to it at a later time. Admissions will only receive the application once payment of the application fee has been confirmed. Speaking about application fees, the fees for domestic applicants is $90, and for international applicants, it's $154. And applications are still being accepted online for many programs that are starting in September 2023. So this is a good time to be inquiring into BCIT. So now regarding the entrance requirements, on the right-hand side of the slide is an example of the entrance requirements section of the online application. There are multiple options to fulfill entrance requirements. So you may use the following when filling this out. Midterm grades. The majority of our programs will actually allow you to apply with a midterm grade. However, please do check the entrance requirements page, as some of the competitive entry programs in particular either prefer or require final grades. Additionally, your midterm grade must meet the percentage grade specified in your program's entrance requirements. A midterm grade submission form is available on our website. Secondly would be, of course, final grades. If you're applying after your courses are complete, please upload a transcript with your final grades. Another option for Canadian high school applicants is applying with grade 11 grades. So if you do not have a midterm or final grade available in the grade 12 subjects, you may apply with your grade 11 final mark in those required subjects. So as an example of this, if you're going to be taking English 12 in the next quarter, you can apply with your grade 11 English mark. However, the final mark for the grade 11 course must meet the grades specified within the program's entrance requirements. And you're also going to be required to please upload a timetable showing proof of enrollment in the required grade 12 subject. And you can also apply with post-secondary grades. So if you're a post-secondary applicant, you can use your post-secondary courses to fulfill high school level entrance requirements. So for example, if your program requires physics 12 with 67%, you can apply with 67% or greater in a first year post-secondary physics course. And another option would be applying with international grades. So if you've completed high school or post-secondary outside of Canada, you may propose your high school and or your post-secondary courses to meet the entrance requirements for BCIT's programs. If you're doing this though, do note that an international credential evaluation report is not required when applying to a program that has high school level entrance requirements. This would only be required if identified on the program's entrance requirements page. And it's commonly when the program requires additional post-secondary education, like for example, one of our advanced programs, the Environmental Public Health Bachelor's degree. So you can apply with your secondary or post-secondary official transcripts or both. And if your transcript is in a language other than English, please submit an official translation of the original transcript from a certified translator. Additional details regarding this can be found within the admissions information on our website. And again, to note, regarding English courses are only acceptable if the language of instruction is in English and if your high school was completed in an English-speaking country. If this is not the case, applicants would typically be required to write an assessment test or undertake upgrading courses potentially. So as part of the online application process, you will need to upload documents in order for a timely assessment to be completed. You can download official digital transcripts, or you can convert your transcripts and documents to PDF files. Information on how to convert documents to PDF files is available on our website. There's a step-by-step guide for that. For example, you can scan or take pictures of your official transcripts and save them as PDF files and then upload those. But do please ensure that you upload any required documents, such as a grade 12 timetable, a mandatory applicant questionnaire, or a BCIT midterm grade submission form in order to minimize any delays in processing of your application. Once you're offered a seat in the program, you'll be asked to pay a commitment fee. This fee saves your seat for you. The commitment fee is applied to your tuition and is non-refundable and non-transferable. We do encourage you to begin researching student loans, awards, and bursaries as early as you can and start looking into the available student services that BCIT offers. Approximately 60 days before your program begins, you'll be automatically registered into your courses if you have applied to a full-time program. And also around the 60-day mark is when you'll pay your first term's tuition. At this stage, we highly recommend that you prepare for your studies at BCIT. BCIT has a Learning Commons department, which provides great, amazing resources to help you succeed. For example, they will provide online tips and tutorials on exam prep, group work, and more. Taking the time to prepare for your studies will give you the confidence you need to succeed in your BCIT program. So on this slide here is some information about the average tuition fees for programs at BCIT. This slide does reference domestic student tuition fees, but international student tuition fees are also obviously can be found on a BCIT's website, so you can check that out if you're interested. And additional options can be explored, which are specific to financial aid and awards to support the cost of pursuing a BCIT program. At BCIT, as mentioned in the beginning, we do offer both full-time and flexible learning study options. If you choose a full-time program, you'll be automatically enrolled into your courses each term, as I mentioned earlier. And you'll also be taking an intensive course load. Therefore, you'll need to be prepared with excellent study and time management skills. With full-time programs, you could be starting your career in 1 to 2 years. Then on the other side is flexible learning, and this provides you with, exactly as the name states, flexibility. You can take a single course or work towards a credential at a pace that's right for you. Some of our unique programs are only offered via flexible learning. Please note, not all of our full-time programs are available via flexible learning and vice versa. And if you think you may need an accommodation to take less courses, for example, in a full-time studies program, please feel free to reach out and contact our Accessibility Services Department. Let's talk a little bit more about flexible learning. So traditionally, flexible learning, or formerly known as part-time studies, was primarily geared for working professionals looking to upgrade or pivot their careers. While there are courses and programs designed for those with professional work experience, flexible learning has the ability to also serve a wider population, such as high school students. Prior to embarking on a full-time program, some of you may wish to explore a course or courses that allow you to determine your comfort level for that particular area of study. And as far as accessibility for flexible learning programs and courses, individuals that are 16 years old or older can register. Many of our introductory courses and entry-level programs have open ongoing enrollment with no formal prerequisites or entrance requirements. However, there is an expectation that all flexible learning students do have grade 12 English proficiency, but most programs and courses do not require proof of this. As long as you have strong reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills, you definitely can do well. This provides an excellent opportunity for students to take post-secondary courses that are normally only available to students accepted into a competitive program at, for example, a university. Some of these examples would be BCIT's flexible learning business courses. For exploration, people can take a course in a specific subject area to figure out if it's something that they'll enjoy before committing to a full program. Take multiple courses in different domains. We've all heard of students that enroll in a university and will spend the entire year only to realize that they do not like the program that they're in. But by taking an individual course at BCIT, a student can spend a few $100s and several months of time instead of thousands of dollars and a whole academic year. And then regarding flexibility, most courses are held evenings, weekends, and online, so this typically does not conflict with high school class hours. For recent graduates, it enables them to work full or part-time while completing courses, as students have the freedom to choose how many courses they register for at a time, depending on their own personal schedule. Academically, there's no minimum or maximum course load. Courses with a 3 to 5 year recency can be utilized and put towards BCIT's flexible learning programs. So just like full-time studies, BCIT Flexible Learning offers over 300 programs and over 1,000 part-time courses in 6 different areas of study. Most of our flexible learning instructors are industry professionals who have knowledge of the inner workings of the professional world, and many have contacts within the industry and information on the markets. Having an experienced specialist teach in an academic setting will equip you with the skills and knowledge necessary for the workplace. The flexible learning schedule will allow you to start taking courses in any term, and you have the flexibility in the number of courses you wish to take each term. If you wish to complete a credential, for example, a certificate in business management, you are required to complete all of the courses that are listed in the program matrix to be awarded a credential. No credential will be awarded for taking a single course or a few courses. To maximize program flexibility, courses are offered, as I mentioned earlier, during the day, evenings, and/or weekends, and even online as well. Scheduling of courses may differ every term. Most of the part-time class sizes will vary from about 20 to 30 students, depending on the course and its popularity. And as shown on the slide, there are 3 distinct terms for flexible learning: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Many flexible learning courses simply require English 12 proficiency. It is expected that students have this minimum English proficiency to do well in their studies. If a course has prerequisites, students are expected to complete the prerequisite before registering for the course. So currently, to register for courses and/or to declare a program, which we'll discuss in a few minutes, students are not required to submit documents. If you're wondering what a program declaration is, I'll be just discussing that in the next couple of slides. And let's now go over some of the more popular flexible learning entry-level courses that we offer here at BCIT. Some common business courses listed on the slide may be transferable to universities and could apply potentially towards a full-time program or towards completion of a flexible learning credential. So a course, for example, such as Organizational Behavior 1105, this course covers the influence of people and how companies are organized or structured. Another very popular course is Marketing 1102, Essentials of Marketing. Key topics in this course are product, price, place, and promotion, along with marketing strategies based on research and understanding the marketing environment and its customers. And another course, Business Information Systems 1, which covers popular software that's used in business within many companies, as well as addressing technology issues and challenges faced when using these software programs. So all three are very, very popular and interesting courses. And then within the broadcast area of studies, there are often courses that permit individuals to proceed towards sampling into areas such as television and video production, radio, arts, and entertainment, as well as broadcast and online journalism. A course such as BCST 1002 has a focus on training individuals that would fulfill roles such as artists, producers, and promoters who are key to the broadcast industry. Within the Adobe Creative Cloud, there are plenty of courses that can be explored towards creative content and design, such as some of the courses listed on this slide here. When considering computing courses, it's important to ensure that one has either completed COMP 1002, which is Applied Computer Concepts, or possesses the equivalent knowledge of this course. This course is the foundation for all future computing flexible learning courses, so it's an important one to either have the knowledge of or to take. Each of the following core courses listed on this slide are introductory courses and are designed to determine your interest in different aspects of computing and IT. Within the area of engineering, there are also several subjects that could be explored to delve into the basics of, for example, drafting, to determine the interest level that you may have in this particular area. Are you wanting to see if the railway industry appeals to you, or what about welding? BCIT offers several flexible learning courses in these areas that may be of interest to you. There is a railway training self-assessment available on the railway training landing page, which you can take to see if a career as a railway conductor may be the right fit for you. So if you want to start as soon as possible, your first step will be to register for flexible learning courses. Registration for the upcoming spring-summer 2023 flexible learning term actually just opened up this morning. So again, a really good time to be attending this session. Registration into flexible learning courses is on a first-come, first-served basis. For tuition, the cost of a flexible learning program will be the sum of the individual courses. Student loans will only be available for students who are actually enrolled or declared in certain flexible learning programs. Again, English proficiency is expected of all students, though proof is generally not required for most of these programs. If you want more information, enter register in the search bar at the top of BCIT website's landing page. So to complete a flexible learning program and earn a credential, students must enroll in the program by submitting a program declaration. More information is available in our flexible learning 101 sessions, which are typically held usually about once or twice a year. You can visit bcit.ca/events to view the upcoming sessions. So if you plan to complete one of the many programs offered through flexible learning, you'll need to declare your program, as I mentioned earlier. Declaring your program ensures that BCIT is aware of your intent to complete a program as it is currently outlined. BCIT continuously reviews programs and updates its curriculum based on industry and market trends. So a program declaration will guarantee that credit for courses which are part of your program will be honored despite any potential program matrix changes that may come in the future. Program declarations are accepted throughout the year for most programs. Currently, you're not required to submit any documents when declaring a program. However, some flexible learning programs do have a formal application process where you're required to meet the entrance requirements and submit additional supporting documentation. To find out which programs have these formal entrance requirements, refer to the entrance requirements for that individual program, and it will be all outlined there. BCIT offers many different types of credentials. These are all designed to complement specific education and work experience and your career goals. Most BCIT programs provide you with the unique opportunity to advance your education and upgrade your skills at an accelerated pace, getting you into your career more quickly. So for example, you can start with a certificate and finish with a degree. This progressive laddering model allows you to build on your education to suit your needs one step at a time. If you're unsure about the option that is right for you, please definitely feel free to connect with us in program advising. So switching gears for a moment, we are focused on your success, and there are a number of key support services available to you if you do need these. The first one I want to mention is our Student Life Office. Their mandate is to support student success and well-being throughout your student life cycle. The Student Life Office and BCIT Student Association both apply the 8 dimensions model and provide services and resources in support of each area of this model to ensure your overall well-being. The elements include intellectual, occupational, physical, financial, psychological, environmental, spiritual, and social needs to ensure a student thrives and realizes their goals. And here are some other important student supports that I like to mention. If you're Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. I also encourage you to review BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries that are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. I would also like to mention that we do have a President's Entrance Award. A selection for this award is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I do encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. BCIT Student Health Clinic is a health clinic located at the Burnaby campus, and they do provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round, and they have a full staff of doctors and nurses. We also have a counseling and student development department, which is available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. And lastly, our Rec Services Department offers fitness classes, a fully equipped gym, and sports such as squash, tennis, basketball, and floor hockey. We do have a student housing complex, which is located on the Burnaby campus, which is a short walk from your classes. You can do a virtual walkthrough of student housing, and you can do this by going to Student Housing's webpage. The housing office will also provide students with free access to off-campus accommodation listings, which are available throughout the community. Off-campus housing will be available near all of our campuses. So why do people choose BCIT? It's because of the success rate of our graduates. We help you build the real-world skills you need to get the job you want. Students will be learning from industry experts and training with the most advanced technology available. BCIT graduates are qualified to step right into the most in-demand jobs. Whatever path you choose, every one of our qualifications is designed to get you the job you want. To dive deeper into learning about a program or its outcomes, please attend a program-specific information session. As well, you can check out some of the informative videos on BCIT's YouTube channel. These videos are a great source of learning about BCIT and our programs. Other ways to connect with us and learn more about BCIT and our community is by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please don't hesitate to contact our department, Program Advising, if you do have a question or are unsure of something. We are able to answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other details as well. For full-time programs, we are available to assist you via telephone, email, or by in-person or virtual drop-in sessions. You can go to our webpage, bcit.ca/advising to view our most current and up-to-date contact information and service hours, and feel free to also reference this slide here. For flexible learning, you're able to book an in-person or a virtual appointment with a flexible learning advisor. And you can also send specific questions via email to program_advising@bcit.ca, and we'll be happy to assist you. So for those of you who have registered and attended Big Info this evening, you will have a chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes from BCIT. So please complete the Big Info survey to enter the contest and check your email inbox on February 23rd, so tomorrow, to see if you're one of the winners. If you do have any questions regarding this, feel free to reach out to our BCIT events department via email at events@bcit.ca. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and I apologize for the technical difficulty at the beginning. However, I'm assuming that there's some questions that were going along through the presentation, but now I'll open it up, and if you would like to type in your questions, we can read some of these verbally aloud. My colleague, I think Maninder, will be monitoring the Q&A, so I'll just go back to this slide, which may be helpful. If anyone else wants to type in their questions, or we can open it up to the group.
Thanks, Maggie. We've received a number of different types of questions, so thank you for all those great questions you have coming in. There's one question well, there's a couple that are maybe some common questions that we can address in a live audience. So one question I've seen is from a student who has taken English 12 at a time in BC when we had provincial exams as a requirement. If you have taken English 12 and you wrote the provincial exam, it could have benefited you and you could have received a higher grade, or the opposite could have happened. Now, at the end of the year, you would have received a transcript that has 3 grades. You would have listed your class mark, your provincial exam mark, and your combined mark. You were able to use any one of the 3 to fulfill the English mark. So for example, if your provincial exam mark met the requirement for the program, you may use the provincial exam mark to apply for the program. So that's a question I've seen a couple of times. Another one is in respects to international credential evaluations. If you're applying to a program with high school requirements, typically you do not need to do an evaluation of your international credentials. That is most often required for a program that has post-secondary requirements. I'll use, for example, accounting as a program that if you're interested in applying to that program and you've done your studies, let's say in France, you can submit your high school transcript from France as long as it's in English. If it isn't in English, you would have to have it translated by an official organization. And you could use your math from France potentially to meet the math requirement for the accounting program. If you're applying to a program that has post-secondary requirements, such as university courses, I'll use an example of our health science program, such as radiation therapy. That program, if you have done your university studies in a country outside of Canada, US, New Zealand, Australia, then you would typically require to do an ICS, or an international credential evaluation. I know that's a lot of detail, but that is also listed under the entrance requirement page for each program. Trying to think of some other commonly asked questions that I'm seeing here. Another one that I've seen for health science programs is if a student may use Foundations of Math 12 in the BC high school system to meet a pre-calculus 12 requirement. And no, that's not possible. Those are different courses. So if a program lists pre-calculus as a requirement, then it has to be pre-calculus at the high school level. And it's potentially possible to take other courses outside of high school at the college university level, but you can't use Foundations of Math 12 in place of pre-calculus 12.
My apologies, Maninder. I was just trying to type some responses to some of the other people inquiring. I just wanted to chime in and answer a couple of questions if I could here. There have been a number of questions that are specific to particular programs, And it's important to make sure that the details on the program pages are reviewed prior to making your inquiry, because there are unique requirements for each program at BCIT. And it may be a different process as how to proceed if you're proceeding for or planning to apply to a full-time program versus a part-time program, as well as Maggie mentioned that there's different services that we offer between the two groups. And so it's definitely important to make sure that you've reviewed the full information on the program page, including details within the links on the page. Especially there's a link below the requirements on most program pages that says read more about how to meet BCIT's ENTRANCE requirements, which does include more information about English requirements, assessment testing, upgrading options, as well as equivalencies. So definitely take a look at the full information. Reach out to us as a follow-up to inquire further. There is another question in there that I was mentioning I would answer live. And again, it's specific to the requirements of a particular program. So you do want to take a look at that full information on the program page. And there are those supporting links to provide more clarification and assistance, but also reach out to us in program advising as a follow-up to clarify things further, especially when it's a competitive program, as someone's inquiring about the architectural science program that we offer. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. I've also seen a question regarding our 2 years of speaking in an English, sorry, two years of full-time studies in an English-speaking country requirement. So that is proficiency in speaking and listening, and all BCIT full-time studies programs have that as a requirement. There are multiple ways you can fulfill that requirement, and as Jesse mentioned, on the entrance requirement page, underneath the English requirement, it links you to another page where you can see how you can meet that particular requirement. So if you have studied outside of the list of countries that are listed on that page, so we have provided a table that lists the countries that are English speaking. So if you didn't study in one of those countries, then you would need to write one of the acceptable exams that we've listed, and there's multiple different exam options available. If you're upgrading through the adult high school system for English 12, and you are missing the 2 years of full-time education, you can meet the English 12 requirement by taking the English Studies 12 or English First Peoples 12 course, and then do a test to fulfill the speaking and listening requirements so that you can just do one test as opposed to multiple tests. Thank you.
Pop back in and comment. There are some programs, especially advanced level programs, so things like forensic science options, or I believe it was digital health that I had an inquiry about. So where you get an advanced certificate or a program like the forensic science, so it's offered at a bachelor level, there are times where we in program advising will assist to a limited degree, and we would want to have you reach out to the department directly to consult them specific to the details of their program. Not always super obvious on the website, which is where we'll often receive inquiries and suggest that individuals inquire with the department directly. One of the questions that I had from someone inquiring about the digital health program, which is an advanced certificate, was simply to address course scheduling, how many courses they could take each term, for instance. So there are details in the courses section where you click the individual course links to see the schedule. And we did just release our schedule this past Friday for registration for part-time studies for the coming term, and registration commenced today. So that's definitely important to take a look at, but also to reach out to the department to clarify if there's a typical course schedule. Is a student typically going to register for 3 courses, or would they register for 6? How easily is that planned out in the registration process? As well as it may depend on the individual Are they working full-time? How heavy of a course load can they manage themselves through a program such as digital health that's offered through part-time studies? So hopefully that helps. Pop back out in a moment.
I've got a question that I've seen here a couple of times as well. Regarding transcripts, as Maggie mentioned, transcripts are to be submitted along with your online application. So what we recommend you do is have your transcript sent to you. If it's already an electronic copy, you have it saved as a PDF. If it's not an electronic copy, you take the hard copy and you would need to create a PDF file. And we have provided instructions on our website of how you can do that. If your school prefers to send the transcript directly to us, they can do that. Our address for admissions is on our website. Or if they want to email a copy to us, they can do that as well. An official transcript can be sent to admissions@bcit.ca. But it is recommended that you upload transcripts with your online application. I'm just going to have a look to see if I can see other commonly asked questions. I see a question. It's specific to BCIT's engineering programs transferring to university. I'm going to speak in more general terms. When it comes to any of BCIT's programs and transferring to university or externally to any other school, there is no one answer. It's very program specific. We do have some programs where there are some transfer agreements in place, and then there are some programs that may not be the case. So if you are interested in a specific program, I recommend you connect with us directly, and we'll be able to let you know. So you tell us what program you're interested in, and you can ask us, does this program transfer outside of BCIT? And we'll be able to let you know if there are any transfer agreements in place for that particular program. There is also a question regarding when programs start and based on the application date. So typically applications are accepted almost 1 year in advance the application acceptance period starts. So we started accepting applications first week of October 2023 for programs starting September 2024. As Maggie mentioned, some programs have a deadline date, so you have to make sure your application is in by that deadline date. Others are first qualified. So that means some programs may be at this point near full or have already filled, but then there's many programs that are also still available for you to consider at this time as well. From our website, you can access the program availability page. And on there, you can see which programs are available for you to apply to and when they will be starting.
I apologize. I'm just going to try and answer a question specific to how someone enters the contest. That is, I believe they're doing a draw, if I'm not mistaken, for maybe a tuition voucher specific to this information session. I'm making the assumption that the marketing department that hosts this session, and we greatly appreciate their support, would be doing a random draw. So it looks like they've just confirmed that. So based on your registration to attend this information session, they would draw a name as a result of that and make contact with you directly.
We're just trying to find some more questions that we can answer that would be of interest to the entire audience. There's a number of questions that are in the Q&A feature, and we are definitely trying to answer them as fast as possible. We will be here to answer them, so we're gonna continue answering them as the session progresses.
Just Maninder, someone did ask, and this is actually good to note for everyone, are we able to get the slides from this session for future reference? I know the session is being recorded, as I mentioned at the beginning, but I'm actually not sure if the slides will be sent out from Jessica. Can you answer? Do you know if they'll receive, the attendees will receive any copies of the slides after the session?
The session will be recorded and will be available online for viewing, but the slides won't be sent.
Oh, they won't be, okay.
Yeah.
Good. I think sometimes they do that for other, but I wasn't sure for this one or not. So that's good to know. Thank you. And I do see quite a few questions from flexible learning, I should say, regarding, specific, if they want an appointment, etc. So you can definitely do that. So feel free to reference the slide that I have on the screen. Pardon me. You can, like I mentioned in the presentation, book virtual or an in-person appointment with my colleagues in flexible learning, whichever is your preference. So you will call the number listed there on the slide to book that appointment. So they can book that for you. If it's in person, we have appointments available, from my understanding, both at Burnaby campus and at the downtown campus, and then virtual obviously can be, I'm assuming most times would be available. So yeah, you can definitely do that by calling the number there, and they'll let you know the available times, and you can just specify if you want in person, which campus, or a virtual appointment. So definitely please feel free to go ahead and do that. Maninder, Jesse, do you see any more like common questions?
I have a question about transcripts. And prospective student has a question about hard copy of transcripts from a college, but not a university. So it's maybe we can just, Maggie, if you don't mind, just doing an overview on transcripts again.
Oh yeah, I can go overview on transcripts. Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Let me just go up here. Yeah, so that's a very good question. And it can get a little bit confusing. So definitely good to answer that. So essentially, yeah, there is a step-by-step, as I mentioned, I guess, guide on our BCIT website. If you go to the upper right search box on bcit.ca website, and you just type in, I believe if you just type in submitting transcripts and hit enter, that link will come up that, explains everything about how you submit transcripts, what's required, etc., how to scan and prepare your PDF. But typically, some of our programs, like for example, our nursing program, they only accept official transcripts for their academic foundations courses, as an example, which are post-secondary requirements. So for that, you would need to get your official transcript, I'm assuming, sent to you, open it up, and then scan that as a PDF file and submit that official transcripts. For some other programs, it is possible to just, take a picture and just upload that as your transcript. Typically, if there's any kind of issue with the transcript, if there was any sort of question about that, once you've applied and admissions has gone through your application, they would contact you and let you know if there's any kind of issue with the transcript. But yeah, it's all done virtually / online now, digital documents. So there's no hard copies being sent in. So hopefully that does answer your question. But hopefully that answers the question. I guess I wasn't sure that really answered it, but what else can I tell you guys about that? Yeah, you just typically have to scan and upload it, as I mentioned, about a PDF document. If you don't know how to do that, there is a step-by-step guide on the link there that I was just referencing. Yeah, so a lot of our programs that do require post-secondary will, as I mentioned, require official transcripts, but otherwise it can be just one that you've taken a picture of and scanned and upload. Like, for example, with high school, or if you're scanning and uploading a copy of your timetable, that's completely fine as well. So yeah.
Maybe I'll answer a question regarding entrance requirements. So an applicant is saying they've fulfilled almost all of the requirements for a specific program, but are working on one of the subjects. And so what should they submit? So you have, as Maggie mentioned previously, really 3 options. Either you use final grades to apply if they're available, or you use midterm grades to apply. And current Canadian high school students, if they don't have either of the ones mentioned available, may use grade 11 marks to apply with proof of registration in the grade 12 subject. And all of these marks that you'll be using to apply must be at the minimum required for the program you are interested in. Now, this is true for all programs, except for programs that have a post-secondary requirement. So if you're applying to, for example, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, that requires post-secondary courses, and you can't apply with midterm grades for the post-secondary subjects, only for high school subjects.
And jump back in and try and answer a couple of questions here. I have an anonymous attendee that is inquiring about the Industrial Network Cybersecurity Program for the fall intake. And just there's been several questions specific to whether a program offers co-op specifically. So there's often specific practical components that are associated with many of our programs, and they'd usually be outlined within the courses section. So I'd suggest taking a look in the courses section on the program page to see specifically if it's a practicum that's involved, if it's a co-op, if it's clinical for the health science programs, or for the business programs, it may be an internship, or so there's different titles that'll be associated with those practical components. So it's important to take a look through that detail in the courses section to determine specific to the program you're looking into what the how it's outlined for that specific program. So hopefully that answers your question specific to that program. By taking a further look, there was another question I had here, and I've lost it. So a high school student that graduated in 2021, planning to pursue radiography. And so when you're looking at a competitive program and you're addressing your specific situation with respect to the grade level that you've achieved and the volunteering that you've proceeded with any competitive program, the competitive nature can vary. And so I'd want to maybe have a more in-depth back and forth with you specific to this program, because programs can vary their competitive level from year to year. The pandemic certainly has affected some of our programs with respect to historically how competitive they were and how competitive they are presently. So some have increased their competitive level and others have softened in the nature of the applicants that are required. So it's definitely important to reach out to us directly to chat further about a more competitive program and how you're best to prepare yourself for success in the application process. There is a question that came up with respect to whether we offer a bachelor's degree in graphic design or digital media. As we as an institute progress and we offer or we consider offering different options at a higher level, be it a bachelor's degree or a master's option, sometimes those details are not going to be available on the website. So I would encourage you to try and attend the information sessions that are specific to the area of study or to consult the department directly to find out if they have any plans for future program options that may be available. Because I think there may be something in the works with respect to a higher level option within graphic design or digital media in the future. So definitely important. Where you don't necessarily see something outlined on the website, it can't hurt to inquire with the department further as well directly, or to check in with us in program advising.
Okay, everyone. Well, I think we're winding down to the end of this session. So as the next slide is showing currently, the next session will be available at 5:20 p.m. coming up, and it's going to be student success presenting. So feel free to stick around for that. There'll be some great information presented there. We definitely will all be sticking around to respond to your questions that have been placed into the chat here. There's still quite a few questions to get through, so please don't worry. We're definitely going to get to those. So just be a little bit patient with us, but we'll definitely get to those. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you so much, everyone, for your attention to the presentation today, for attending. Don't forget to enter the contest for a chance to win the tuition. And we thank you so much for attending today. And I hope you enjoyed the session and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to BCIT's Big Info. My name is Laura Vale, and I am the Senior Director for Student Success at BCIT. We're really excited to have you join us this evening to learn more about BCIT. Just a reminder that throughout the presentations, you will be able to ask questions through the chat function, which I see some of you have found. When asking questions, we suggest letting us know if you're either a domestic or international student, so we can ensure that we're giving you the correct information. Before we dive into the agenda for this afternoon, I thought I would talk a little bit about the learning environment here at BCIT. So at BCIT, we are committed to the success of all of our students, and it's really important that our students have access to all the tools that they need for success. Our academic programming and complementary student services are all here to support your well-being and development, so you can reach and even succeed your goals at BCIT. We want you to thrive while you're here, not only in your professional life, but throughout your life. So in the next while, you'll hear about what some of these tools for success might be. I'd also like to speak briefly to our approach to the student experience here at BCIT. We all know that life exists outside of school, and so it's really important that all of your needs are met so you can be successful both inside and outside of the classroom. Programming provided through all of our services that you'll hear about tonight is approached from a holistic perspective using the 8 dimensions of well-being to support student wellness. So whether you're looking for physical well-being or financial well-being or pretty much anything in between, we have something to address those needs. And so with that, I would like to introduce Annalyn Bolano, who is a Student Life Ambassador in our Student Life Office, to talk more about student success at BCIT. Over to you, Annalyn.
Thank you, Laura, for introducing me. Like what Laura said, my name is Annalyn. I am a Student Life Ambassador, where I help promote services here at BCIT to students and to create events to connect new and current students. I work for the Student Life Office, and we focus on orientation and transition for new students, and we call this Kickstart, Student Success Hub, which is also found on the Learning Hub, the Student Life Ambassador Program, which I am luckily happy to be a part of, and the Health and Wellbeing Promotion, which consists of workshops, events, education, and initiatives throughout the year. We also have a service called Early Assist, which is a referral service where you can reach out for support for yourself or anyone at the school. You can learn more about our office at bcit.ca/student-life-office. Here we have accessibility services. So if you have any medical diagnosis that creates barriers to accessing education or demonstrating your knowledge and ability, whether you identify as having a disability or not, you may be eligible for an academic accommodation to address those barriers. Students can complete the student intake and self-assessment form found on the Accessibility Services webpage under Forms. To receive accommodations, you will need to register with Accessibility Services. For medical documentation, you are encouraged to use the BCIT medical form. And once you completed that, the required documents you can contact them at 604-451-6963, or you can also email them through accessibility@bcit.ca to book an appointment. And you can also learn more and get all the information at bcit.ca/accessibility. The next service we have is student housing. So all students are eligible to apply for accommodation at BCIT student housing only if you are applied to a full-time or a cohort-based BCIT program or apprenticeship. On-campus accommodation is limited and is not guaranteed, but a student housing consists of 7 buildings on the Burnaby campus, each containing 4 suites of 12 bedrooms. 12 students live together in each suite, and they share a laundry, bathroom, a living room, and 2 full kitchen areas. There is the BCIT Student Housing Project, which will provide affordable, sustainable housing for more than 450 BCIT students. When this is completed, the 12-story student housing facility will feature more than 450 beds in studio and single units, common spaces and support areas, and an outdoor accessible plaza. The use of mass timber construction will ensure that this is a sustainable building, as well as a beautiful centerpiece for the Burnaby campus. And for our next service, I would like to introduce Joe Boyd from Applied Research to talk more about what they do. So on to you, Joe.
Thanks, Emmeline.
Yeah, no worries.
Hi, my name is Joe Boyd. I'm in the Applied Research Office at BCIT, and we help students with projects they do sometimes as part of their programs, as part of courses. And other students, they come to BCIT, they have these ideas, they want to create a business, to do a project, and we help with that as well. And the way we support this student success, is something called the BCIT Student Innovation Challenge. And this is a challenge to get students bright ideas, where they describe their idea as like a case, and then they get to pitch their ideas in front of judges, some from industry, some from BCIT, the faculty. And this covers all programs and schools at BCIT. And it's a good competition. It's amazing the ideas that students come up with. Each year, there's 3 different categories: research, entrepreneur, and sustainability. In each category, the first prize is $5,000 cash. We hope you use it to go on with your idea, but it's cash. You can do what you want with it. Next slide, please. And so students, I mean, we're not part of a specific program at BCIT, but students across all programs do different types of projects. Sometimes they're engineering capstone projects, directed studies. In computing, they have what are called industry-sponsored student projects. So we work with faculty, with students, to support them with these projects. Sometimes it's help them find collaborators or partners. Sometimes it's to find funding to support the project. And we also work with the BCIT Student Association, which has an entrepreneurial services group that helps students as well with their ideas. Our URL is there for the Student Innovation Challenge. We're bcit.ca/innovate. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for talking about applied research here at BCIT and other student opportunities. Here we have student health services. So for BCIT Student Health Services is a campus clinic located on the Burnaby campus, and it provides confidential medical care for current BCIT students year-round. Student Health Services continues to offer virtual care through phone or video appointments to all BCIT students at all BCIT campuses. The physician or nurse will do an assessment during your phone or video appointment and schedule an in-person follow-up as necessary. But currently there are no walk-ins allowed. So you will have to contact Student Health Services to make an appointment by phone, or you can book online, as well as their clinical hours and further information will be available on the website at bcit.ca/health-services/services. For counseling and student development, all enrolled students can access free confidential counseling while they study at BCIT. Counselors offer one-on-one appointments that provide a supportive, non-judgmental environment for students to talk about any issues or concerns they may face while attending their programs. Students can get help with academic, personal, mental health, and career-related concerns. They also offer groups and workshops such as Mindfulness BCIT. They know being a student can be stressful, and adjusting to the current global situation may create more challenges. So you can check out their mental health at home resources and other services online. The caring and supportive counselors are always there for you. You can check out their website at bcit.ca/counseling for more information. For our next service, I would like to present Douglas Buchanan from Library to talk more about them.
Hey everyone. I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes about the services and some of the programs we have at the library and at the Learning Commons. In terms of the Learning Commons, we are a student support area, and we have some excellent programs to support you in your studies. Our most common, or our best known program is peer tutoring. Peer tutors are your fellow students who have taken the courses that you will be studying in your first couple of terms. And they are there to help you with any problems or questions you might have, approaches to learning the content, approaches to studying. And they're a great resource. They're very friendly, and they want to help you. So in your first couple of terms, you're welcome to meet your peer tutor for your course, and please feel free to use the services. They're excellent services. The peer tutors are very friendly. The second one on that list there is Right Away. That is an online writing support service. In your courses, you're likely to be producing some writing that will be graded, and Right Away and our writing tutors are there to give you feedback, give you ways to improve your writing. So again, it's a really good service. These are peer tutors. They are your fellow students, so they've done the assignments that you're going to be working on. Ask Away is also an online service where you can connect directly with a librarian and ask any questions that the librarians may be able to answer for you. Also under online services, you'll see MediaWorks. That is a high-tech makerspace, and they have tech staff there that can help you with anything related to things like 3D printing, to producing anything on a computer, advise you on software. Okay. Under e-resources, well, The library, of course, it has paper books, it has paper journals and magazines, but there's also a lot of electronic resources that are available to you, ebooks, streaming videos, electronic journals, and online research guides. And there's very friendly librarian staff that are there to answer any questions you may have about using it. So the library is a very collaborative and supportive space, and we have these online and e-resources that are available to support you in your studies. Next slide, please. And I'm just going to focus a little bit more on the Learning Commons. I spoke about the second one already, about peer tutoring. We do have online peer tutors, but most of our peer tutoring is in person, and it's on a drop-in basis. So an appointment is not necessary. You just have to look at our schedule to see when your subject tutor is there and drop in and say and ask your questions. Writing tutoring, again, it operates on the same basis. We have scheduled sessions that you can see on our website, and it's drop-in, so again, no appointment is necessary. I spoke about right away. The one I didn't speak about yet is learning skills seminars. Learning skills are also called soft skills. They're things like time management, note-taking strategies, things like that, reading skills. And we have faculty who are able to talk you through some of the strategies that you can use for learning. You can also make one-to-one appointments with our learning strategist if you have any specific learning skills that you would like to focus on. So again, it's a little bit different from our other services because this is faculty that are providing these and not your fellow students. But it's a great service. It's free to you, and you know, you're welcome, and we invite you to make use of them. They're excellent services. And the last one I'm going to mention on the list is student employment. We do hire peer tutors. We're always on the lookout for good peer tutors. So if you're looking for an on-campus job, working and supporting your fellow students, keep us in mind to work with us as a peer tutor. Typically, we are looking for students who have completed their first 2 terms and have done well in their courses. And then we will interview the prospective peer tutor, and if you're successful, you will start working with us and supporting your fellow students, building a sense of community and a collaborative environment. So these are all very good services that we offer, and they're available for you as a BCIT student, and we encourage you to come to our collaborative and supportive environment. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Douglas. Thank you for talking about the library and Learning Commons. You can also learn more about the library and Learning Commons through bcit.ca/library and bcit.ca/learning commons. All right, so for recreation services, the fitness center is free for students to access. They have a double gymnasium, intramural sports, fitness classes, multi-purpose activity room, mind and body studio, outdoor and indoor courts. There are also lockers you can rent, as well as towel and gym laundry services available. It's also a good place to hang out as well and to meet new friends. Like for me, I joined volleyball intramurals and I met a lot of new friends as well. So for more information about recreation, you can learn or you can visit at bcit.ca/recreation. For our next service, I would like to present Joan Pasquale, who is the program head for Center for Workplace Education, to present. Welcome, Joan.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. So I'm the program head for the Center for Workplace Education, and we support work integrated learning here at BCIT. The best way to describe work integrated learning is by the Venn diagram that you see on your slide. It's really the intersection between BCIT and your studies, you as a student, and industry. So there's opportunities for you to apply the skills that you learned in your school and your classes in real world industry problems. And this can take form in many different ways. Joe mentioned applied research as one way to do that. There's also cooperative education programs, internships, practicums. There's also field placements. So there's lots of different ways to do that. One of the really great things I find about BCIT is that it has really close ties with industry and really emphasizes industry experiences. You'll find that many of the full-time programs here will have a will component. I'll get to that in a minute, but for those who are interested in programs that don't have a work integrated learning component, I also wanted to highlight one of our other services, which is eJobs. It's basically a job board for all students, great to look for part-time, seasonal internships and new grad jobs. So when employers are looking for a BCIT grad because of their reputation as industry-ready students or new grads, eJobs is a place that they post it, and you would have access to that as a student. Next slide, please. For the Center for Workplace Education, we mostly support cooperative education programs, and you might have heard about co-op programs. It's very popular here in Canada as a way to get work experience related to your studies. So students alternate academic terms and paid work terms in their industry. And the co-op program supports you to get those jobs, and they'll teach you things like how to job search, employability skills, how to get and secure a job, and they'll monitor you and support you even while you're on the job earning money. So it's a really great way to apply the learning that you learn from the classroom to the workplace. Work terms are typically longer in length, so you will be out working for typically anywhere from 4 to 8 months, and these are all paid positions. The goal is for you to return to the classroom with some really great experiences that you could add to your resume and help you see your academics in a new view. Many students do end up working for the companies that they had their co-op work term with, or they are able to use that first experience to jumpstart their career and look for more higher level jobs after graduation because they have that experience in their resume. Here at BCIT, we have 14 programs that have a co-op component, and you'll find those programs on the slide there. Many of them are mandatory, such as with the trades. So for example, automotive service technicians or CNC machinists, co-op will be a mandatory part. So if you sign up for those diploma programs, you will do co-op work terms before you graduate as a way to get experience. Other programs such as the computing programs or engineering programs, co-op is an optional selective. So by being part of those diploma programs, you have the option to apply to be a member of the co-op program. Next slide, please. For programs that you might be interested in that don't have a co-op, not to worry, there's other work integrated learning opportunities there. So this can take the form of consulting projects where you get together in a team and you analyze an industry problem, you put together a deliverable or a result, and you present that to the industry representative. Or it could be an internship, which are basically shorter work experiences. They can range from 2 weeks to 12 weeks, or practicums, which are more related to the health field. So there's lots of different ways that you can get access to industry experience before you graduate. And having all these work integrated learning experiences develops students who are focused, driven, self-disciplined, and innovative thinkers, and who are resilient and agile. So it really helps you to apply these experiences there. So to find out more about what type of work integrated learning is available for the programs you're interested, the best place to look would be on the program pages for the program that you're specifically interested in, and it'll tell you if there's a consulting project, a co-op, or an internship available there. Thanks for your time and attention, everyone.
Thank you so much, Joan, on talking about another valuable service available for students. You can also learn more about them at bcit.ca/workplace-education. All right, so we have student financial aid and awards. This provides students with information about various financial aid options. They also assist with the application process and aid in the resolutions of problems, as well as administering scholarships and bursaries. They can help you determine the type of funding to apply for, assist with the application, and help you access the funds, as well as provide information on repayment options for your student loan. They also administer various awards, including scholarships, bursaries, entrance awards, and achievement awards. And they also process emergency funding, loans, and bursaries. And both types of funding require an appointment with the financial aid advisors. So students can contact them through their phone number, which is 604-432-8555, or you can email them at findaid@bcit.ca. And all the information about them, they will have it on their website at bcit.ca/financial-aid. And a few other ways you can learn more about BCIT. You can attend an information session. There's some that are for their own program. There's a checkout 360-degree virtual campus highlight, and you can connect with a program advisor, and you can learn more about admissions and upgrading, or you can order a free copy of the 2022-2023 BCIT View Book. You can also get all this information through bcit.ca/experience. By attending this big info event, you have a chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes from BCIT. I definitely recommend completing your entry because during my first year, I registered and submitted and I didn't think too much about it. And a few weeks later, I got an email saying that I received $1,000 towards my tuition. So for tomorrow, you'll get an email in your inbox. And after completing the big info survey, you are entered. So for more information about the contest or contest rules, you can visit the website bcit.ca/contest-promotions. This concludes the presentation, but I just want to thank you all for joining Student Success at Big Info. Just know that all these services that were presented to you are here for you and to help you out through your BCIT journey. But if you have any questions, there are staff here to answer your questions in the chat box for the next few minutes. But I can, so your next steps after you are registered are to check out the office's page for Kickstart, where we can help you start your journey at BCIT. Once again, I am a Student Life Ambassador, so you can find me on our Instagram at BCIT Student Life Office. I hope to see you guys soon if I am on campus, but I hope you all have a great evening and take care. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Big Info BCIT. This is the BCIT International section. My name is Vicky, and I'm the International Recruitment and Social Media Specialist in BCIT. I'm here today with my coworkers, and I'll let them introduce themselves later. So in my section, I will talk briefly about BCIT and why it is a perfect destination for international students. Can we go to the next slide? So a little bit about BCIT. We have about 300 programs open to international students. 150 of them, they are under regular daytime programs, and about 120 of them, they are flexible evening and weekend courses. Overall, we have 5 campuses across Metro Vancouver area. I will talk about them in the next slide. Every year, we have about 45,000 students enrolled in BCIT, including domestic and international students. Usually, we will have over 5,200 international students from over 100 countries. So you can see it's a very diverse community. We have many international students from diverse backgrounds. BCIT was established in 1964, and over the years, we have graduated over 200,000 students. Next slide, please. So BCIT has 5 campuses. Our main campus is in Burnaby. So it's between Metrotown and Brentwood shopping area, really convenient. If you study computing, engineering, business, transportation, chances are you will study in the Burnaby main campus. We also have a downtown campus. In downtown campus, we offer programs like business, computing. If you are going to upgrade your English with BCIT, chances are you will go to downtown campus as well. We also have an aerospace technology campus next to the YVR International Airport. It's a really cool campus. There are over 20 airplanes on their campus. If you are going to study aircraft maintenance engineering or aviation management, you will go to that campus. It's a really amazing campus. We also have an NSS Island campus in Delta. In that campus, we have a heavy duty truck technology program open to international students. Really cool program. The program has a paid co-op and there's a rewarding career after graduating from the program. We also have a marine campus in North Vancouver, but the marine programs are not open to international students. So we don't have international students in that campus. Next slide, please. So why BCIT? First, BCIT, if you want to get a job, in BC, in Canada, or anywhere else in the world, BCIT is a really excellent choice. Our degree graduates employment rate is 97. That means 97 of the students find jobs within 6 months of graduation. In BCIT, you won't just sit in the classrooms and listen to your instructors. We provide applied education throughout the program. So you will get hands-on experience in the program. You will be trained for the position even before you graduate. Many programs have co-ops, practicums, internships to make sure that students get the practical skills they need to find a job, to start a career. Our curriculum is industry focused. All our faculty have direct experience in the fields. So you are not learning the knowledge from 10 years ago from the textbook. You are getting the skills that are required by the industry. And we have flexible learning options for you. You can join our regular daytime programs, or you can take a part-time job in the day and take courses in the evening and at weekends. So again, our degree graduates employment rate is 97%. That's really high. In BCIT, we have 6 schools. We have business and media, computing and academic studies, construction and environment, energy, health science, and transportation. Overall, we have 300 programs open to international students. Here is a QR code. If you are interested, just take out your phone and scan it. You will find a list of programs that are open to international students. So I'll pass this on to my coworker, Katrina. She will talk more about entrance requirements and programs.
Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. My name is Katrina. I'm International Recruitment and Social Media Specialist at BCIT. So I would like to briefly tell you about our regular credential program and flexible credential program. So as Vicky mentioned already, we do have regular credential daytime programs. For those programs, basically you will be registered and you will have about 6 to 8 courses. And you'll have about, can we go back to the back, one more slide back? You will be registered in about 6 to 8 courses. So the programs are very intense. You will be in school daytime, basically from Monday to Friday. And the tuition would be based on each semester. Each of our programs will have an entrance requirements. Those entrance requirements can be seen on the program page. For most of the programs, for English, you would need IELTS at the level of 6.5. Some of the programs would even require a little bit higher level. Those programs mostly have one intake. Basically, it is September intake, just with a few programs also in January intake. On the contrary, we also have a flexible credential programs. For those programs, basically, we will just give you the list of all courses you need to complete in order to graduate. And you will be responsible for registering yourself in those courses. The requirement is to register 9 credits per term, every term, to maintain your full-time status. So because you register yourself, you will be able to choose courses in the evenings and even on the weekends. This way, if you want, you can have more opportunities to work during the day, Monday to Friday. Also, in terms of payment of tuitions, again, because you're registering yourself, the tuition will be based on the number of courses you are registering. If, for example, for one term you only register in 3 courses, you will be required to pay just for these 3 courses. If next term you decide to do 4 courses, then you will have to pay for the 4 courses. Another benefit of the flexible credential programs is that there are multiple intakes. If, like I said, for the regular credential programs, it's mostly September. With the flexible, we have intakes in September, January, and even April, May. In terms of entrance requirements also, but these programs would have a little bit lower entrance requirements. For most of them, IELTS Academic 6.0 would be enough to get accepted. We also currently accepting Duolingo as an English test results. And if for the regular credential programs, you would need Duolingo 115. For the flexible, Duolingo 105 should be enough. Thank you. Next slide, please. So here's an example of the regular credential program. As you can see, 7 courses each term, and you will have to complete all courses in one level before you can go to the next level. And you can see that this program is about 136.5 credits. So this what students do in 2 years, comparing to some other institutes that mostly you would see that number of credits students do in 4 years. But here in BCIT, it is so intense, but this way we guarantee that's how the student get their knowledge and get the job ready. So when they graduate, they're really ready to get the employment. And here's another example. This is the example of the financial management program as a flexible credential option. So here you can just see the list of all courses that needs to be completed in the program. Here is our contact information. So if you are interested to apply to BCIT, if you would like to discuss few programs, few options, what would be the best for you, you can contact us at international@bcit.ca. If you already have an application in process, if you have already applied, you can contact us at international_admissions@bcit.ca. Also, please feel free to join us and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We always have a big announcement. We have a lot of live interviews with our faculties. We share lots of success stories with our students. Some of the students who are currently enrolled in our classes, how their daily life is going on, or some of the students who already graduated, how did they find the job, how easy or complicated was it. There is a lot of information on our social media as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending our info session. My name is Tracy Wang. I'm a Director of International Student and Education Services. At BCIT, international students have access to a great number of services, resources, and facilities. In this presentation, I'm going to highlight the services provided to international students by the International Student Center team. Next slide. It is important to understand immigration compliance requirements, the various types of permits and visas that may be required, and what responsibilities that international students have. Our permits, visas, and status web pages provides a wealth of information and knowledge. It helps you to understand who needs to apply for a study permit, how to apply for or renew a study permit, what document you may need to enter Canada, what is considered to be a full-time or part-time academic status at BCIT, or whether you may be able to stay in Canada and work after your graduation. It is very important as an international student, you are required to maintain the appropriate valid status in Canada at all times. Medical insurance. Understand, next slide, please. Understand the different types of medical insurance that you need is also important. Basic medical insurance coverage is mandatory for all international students throughout your studies at BCIT. I encourage you to navigate through all the information you need by visiting our medical insurance pages on the international webpage. During your study, you may need a letter from BCIT for several reasons. This could be extending your study permit or your temporary resident visa, inviting your family to visit Canada, applying for work, or a post-graduation work permit. There are 3 types of international letters of verification. Before you request one of them, you need to understand and verify if you meet all eligibility requirements to request a letter. For detailed information, you can visit our international letters of verification page. Next slide. The popular international orientation includes both online orientation workshop series running from just a few months prior to a term start, and an in-person meet and greet social event on campus. New students are encouraged to go through our online international student guides for a convenient and helpful resources that you can access at any time. Many of these were developed specifically for international students, and some are actually intended to be reviewed prior to your departure for Canada. These guides and checklists are an essential part of student transition and overall orientation process. International peer mentoring is a great way to engage our students. So our international peer mentoring program helps our new student transition to life at BCIT and make meaningful social connections. This peer-to-peer social support program connects new international students starting the first term at BCIT with a mentor who is a continuing student in good academic standing. Mentors will be able to share their perspective and knowledge of student life at BCIT and the Metro Vancouver area, as well as to do their best to answer questions or refer mentees to appropriate resources. At BCIT International Student Center, we offer various info sessions, workshops, and special events to international students throughout the term. You can join our in-person social gathering, fun events, or virtual workshops to get the updates and information you need. These events not only provide good opportunities to connect with the BCIT community and meet other international students, whether in your program or other programs, but also acquire important information such as maintaining academic status, student study permit conditions, career planning, work eligibility, or post-graduation work permit explained, just to name a few. Next slide, please. For advocacy, the BCIT International Student Center works collaboratively with various departments at BCIT through an integrated support system. We recognize that not only international students need to meet academic requirements, but also immigration requirements. If you have attended earlier sessions, you may hear about our early assist system. We also have accessibility services to provide individual accommodation plan to students in need. Our counseling service supports our students' development and well-being. In addition, BCIT Student Association Advocacy Office provides non-judgmental support and services to BCIT students in a safe space. By working with all these various departments and program areas, we can offer a comprehensive solution to the unique needs of our international students. We want you to know that the International Student Center is here to support you. We have our International Student Center in Burnaby campus, as well as in our downtown campus. We provide in-person and virtual drop-in services. And of course, you can also reach us by phone, email, or follow us on social media. We encourage you to check out our website at bcit.ca/international for a wealth of information and available resources to support you. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Up next, Roger is going to present International Credential Evaluation Service. Roger.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Good evening, everyone. Welcome guests, prospective students, and colleagues. Special thanks out to the ASL interpreters that are joining us this evening as well. My name is Roger Herr. I'm the manager of the International Credential Evaluation Service. We are part of BCIT and provide credential evaluation service to students and guests and other individuals who are seeking credential assessment for their own needs. Next slide, please. So what is ICES? So we are the provincially mandated service here in British Columbia. We are service of BCIT and also provide credential assessment for basically two needs, for general evaluation and also for immigration purposes. So we conduct research, we do credential assessment for employment, licensure, registration, post-secondary admission, and immigration. We are also a founding member of the Alliance of Credential Evaluation Services of Canada, also abbreviated as ACIC. Next slide, please. In terms of what we evaluate, we are looking for a number of different factors. First of all, we are looking at the authenticity of the documents themselves. We are looking at the minimum academic credential one must hold in order for admission. We're looking for the level and duration of the program. So for example, what is it? Is it at the high school level? Is it the undergraduate level? Is it at the graduate level? Or is it at the postgraduate level? We're also looking for what sort of access this credential gives in the home country. So for example, does graduation of this program ladder into another program? So the bachelor degree, does it give you admission to a master's level degree? We look at all these different factors. And lastly, we're looking at the recognition of the institution and program itself within the home country. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, we have two different types of reports. We have general reports, and within the general, we have a basic and a comprehensive. Mainly the difference between the basic and the comprehensive is that the comprehensive lists the grades, credits, and also calculates the grade point average and also lists the language of instruction. Next, the report that we do for immigration for IRCC is called an Educational Credential Assessment, or an ECA. Individuals are seeking this type of report specifically for express entry into Canada. So you may imagine that the number of evaluations that we get actually are greater for immigration currently than our general. So many individuals think that we mainly do assessments for BCIT. And it's actually, we do more assessments for individuals outside of BCIT. Next slide, please. So we charge on a per credential basis, depending on the type of evaluation they're having done and the number of credentials that are required for an evaluation. For example, if somebody requires a basic evaluation, let's say for employment purposes, and they have a bachelor and a master's degree, and they want to have both evaluated, they would have to pay $128 for both credentials to be evaluated. For the ECA, we also charge on a per credential basis. So again, if it's a bachelor and a master that an individual is seeking, they would pay $200 for each credential. We also have another report called a supplemental, but it's really specific to the organization that they're applying to. If individuals want to see more information, they can visit the website and see the individual requirements for each organization that they plan to apply to. Next, please. With respect to document requirements, so individuals need to submit at least a full set of documents. And this means they need to submit a completion certificate, that's either a diploma or degree, along with a transcript. If the transcript is not in English or French, translations would have to be provided. Translators can actually be found on the STIBC site. My personal recommendation is to look at all the list of translators and then go with the least expensive person. So since they are all certified, I would always recommend individuals to go with the least expensive option with regards to translation. For ECA applicants, individuals will have to actually procure official documents. And for our purposes, official documents means documents coming directly from the source institution. So if an individual graduated, let's say from Harvard, and they wanted to have their bachelor's degree evaluated, they would have to contact Harvard University to send us an official documents directly to our office. And that's the only way we would be able to proceed with that type of evaluation. Now, many other organizations that we deal with require official documents. Please check with each individual organization to see what the document requirement is. Next, please. So as I mentioned before, we divide documents into original and official. The main difference is that the original documents are documents that are issued by your school, but are in your possession. Official documents are those documents, but they're sent directly from the school to our office. Basically, the integrity of the information is maintained coming directly from source. So those documents have all the correct seals, signatures, stamps, and postal markings, and we make sure that this integrity isn't broken with regards to individuals sending documents. So they can't be sent by a relative or a friend. They have to be sent by the school directly. Lastly, we designate something as a photocopy, even if they're notarized. The reason being is that notarized documents themselves aren't necessarily representatives of the school. They're usually some other body that stamps a document as being an original, but they're not necessarily verifying that those documents are authentic. So that's one of the reasons why we don't deem or give more value to a notarized document. Next, please. Oh, can we just go back one slide? Thank you. So if you require more information, please come to the BCIT website. It's www.bcit.com/ICES. There you can find more information about what we do and how we do it. And then that's it. I know we're really short on time. I'm just going to go to the next slide. And so we're having a contest, enter to win $1,000 in tuition. So by registering and attending Big Info, you have a chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes at BCIT. Please make sure that you submit a Big Info survey and then check your inbox before February 23rd to see if you've won. So I want to see if there's any questions. Tracy, do you have anything to add? Vicky, Katerina?
It's all good.
I noticed that that's really great. All the ongoing question has been answered by advising International Center, Vicky. So I have seen most of questions seems to be answered. There's 2 open. And for Frankie's question, looks like Melinda is trying to, is typing an answer. And there's another question from Hitash. I'm an international prospective student interested in aircraft maintenance engineering mechanical course. Is it possible to get admissions in May intake? So
Tracy, I can reply to the question. So for aircraft maintenance engineering, there are 2 categories. Category M, I think that's the one you are referring to. It's maintenance. So the next intake for this AMEM program would be August 2023. intake. So it does not, actually the May intake is currently full. So if you apply now, you are likely to be accepted into the August 2023 intake.
Roger, are you going to answer a question? Looks like you would like to answer a question live, or just the hit?
No, Vicky just answered the question.
Okay, good. Is there any other questions that has not been answered? Looks like all the question has been answered. Okay, we are seeing more come in.
Oh, Kamal has a question.
Yes, and Vani
variation-
is trying. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Adela. Okay, that's being answered.
I see another question related to international admissions. It's about the processing time for application. So it really depends on the programs you want to apply to. If it's a first qualified, first accepted program, usually the standard processing time is 4 weeks, but we process a bit faster than that. But if you are applying to a competitive entry program like the computing, civil engineering, you need to meet the basic entrance requirements before the deadline, and then after the deadlines, the department area will evaluate all the qualified applications, and they will make a decision about 2 to 3 weeks after the deadline. So for the competitive entry programs, you will need to wait after the deadline is passed to get a decision. So I hope it clarifies the question.
Thank you, Vicky.
No problem.
So Roger has answered the credential evaluation service. Okay, done.
I see one question about the aircraft maintenance engineering. So it's not a competitive entry. It's so the trades programs, including aircraft maintenance engineering, heavy duty truck technology, or automotive service, these programs, you will apply to a wait list. So once you meet all the basic entrance requirements, you will be joining a wait list. And we process students based on the intakes, but usually if you contact us, we can give you a rough estimate which intake you would be expected to attend. So right now for aircraft maintenance engineering, category M, if you apply now and meet all the entrance requirements, you are likely to start your program in August 2023.
And we have one more question about applying for multiple programs. While I'm waiting for the admission decision for my first choice program, can I take the time to apply for another program? So admission process, you can only apply for one program at a time. If you're on a wait list, you will still have to either wait for the final decision, or if you decide to apply for another program, you will have to withdraw your current application. So give up your wait list, and you can apply for the next program, but only one application at a time. Thank you.
I think we have a question from Hitesh who asked about the aircraft maintenance engineer previously. So Hitesh, it's a 2-year diploma. So that means if you start in August 2023, you are likely to graduate in August 2025. It's a 2-year diploma. I see one question about the architecture and building technology. So architecture and building technology is a competitive entry. So we just passed the first application deadline, but the second one is coming up in April. I think it's April 15th. It's on the program's entrance requirements page, but I seem to remember it's April 15th. So you need to meet the basic entrance requirements, including English, math, and physics before April the 15th. And after the deadline has passed, the department area will review all the applications and they will rank the applicants from top to bottom. So you are likely to get a decision around like end of April.
Do you want to, there's Harinda's question, interested in mechanical, mechatronics and robotics. What's the deadline for September intake?
Great. Actually, I'm just opening up the web page. So the program has 2 rounds of competition. We just passed the first one. The first deadline was February 15th, but the next one is April 15th. Mechatronics and robotics, it's a really competitive program. It requires English. Let me check. Yeah, it requires English, math, physics, and there is a self-assessment form. So make sure that you have strong academics and take some time to fill out the self-assessment form. It's a really excellent program. It's a really cool program.
We have a question from Gursimran about ID creation. So if you have any problems, any troubles with creating BCIT ID, sometimes it happens when we have students with similar names or date of birth, just please email us at international@bcit.ca. We will be able to assist you. So don't worry about calling international numbers or WhatsApp. Yeah, just send us an email, international@bcit.ca. Thank you.
I think we're getting the sign to wrap up because the next session is starting. Thank you so much for everyone for submitting your questions. We'll do our best to continue to answer them online, but I think the session has to move on to the next group.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And if you do have questions, just remember you can send it at email international@bcit.ca. Thank you. And we are going to move on to the next session. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next session with Indigenous Initiatives. We're just going to get the slides going here in a second. Welcome to the big info session with BCIT Indigenous Initiatives and Partnerships. It's really nice to be here. I'm here presenting with my crew, and that's Shelby and Clara from PwC. Just like to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh. And the ways that we engage at BCIT is then from a respectful, honoring place. We always look to provide guidance or seek guidance from the nations and look to some of our elders on campus, elders in community, in ways that we can connect in with the different nations here on the Coast Salish territory. My full name is Derek Kamel Joseph. I'm Carrier descent and Irish descent, Carrier on my dad's side, and Irish on my mom's. I'm the advisor with Indigenous Initiatives and Partnerships, and I work with a great team, which I'll go through in the slides. And that includes Corey Wilson, our executive director, Celeste Dunstan, our administrative assistant, and Tammy Pierce, our associate director. We have numerous elders on campus as well, and they're all here for the support of our Indigenous students. So looking at ways to engage with Indigenous students comes in many different forms. And we look to provide guidance and respect to the different nations, not only in BC, but across Canada. So here at the BCIT Burnaby campus, we look at different ways to support students. And as International has just shared, many different ways to look at that different perspective is through the act of communities and partnerships. So as I mentioned, I'm an advisor. I'm a small part in the there we go. We got the slides up and running. BCIT team is on point. looking at the ways that our Indigenous Initiatives and Partnership team functions is looking at, again, that respect with the nations. As you see on the screen here, there's the image of Snuelia, which is the hand, and that's the raising, not only the honoring of the Coast Salish territories here, but also recognizing the passing of knowledge from one to the next. And in Indigenous communities, we look first, of course, to our elders, but also here on BCIT campuses, we also look at the peer-to-peer support that happens between Indigenous students of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit descent. So looking at ways that students can pass knowledge from one to the next and share that knowledge openly. The next slide is the copper. So again, looking towards Indigenous communities and Northwest communities of BC here, looking at ways that this copper and the eagle design within it can be looked at as a symbol of wealth and strength, but also it can be broken and put back together and become even stronger. So we see this with a lot of our Indigenous students on the pathway moving forward here at BCIT in the intense programs, trades, technology, and apprenticeship programs, where sometimes there's stumbling, sometimes there's falling, sometimes there's a little bit of hesitancy as you move through the programs, but there's always that way that we come together as a community and support each other and put ourselves back together in a stronger and better enhanced way. That's why we choose the copper to symbolize the Indigenous vision. And the Indigenous vision at BCIT is really the strategic plan, looking at how we can support Indigenous students, how we can work with non-Indigenous people throughout the institution here and throughout the different programs, and provide Indigenous knowledge support in whatever way we can for Indigenous students. If we go to the next. So who are we? I explained a little bit there where we're going through the slide, getting ready for the opening of the slides. You'll see on the next slide the pictures of our team, which are Tammy Pierce, our Associate Director on the left there, on Corey Wilson, our Executive Director of Kwakwaka'wakw descent, Celeste Dunstan of Lytton, Shimshan, and Haida descent, and myself, Za. We are there actually at a Orange Shirt Day gathering where we're connecting and honoring the survivors and those that did not make it through the residential school system. And this is one of the events you'll see on campus here at BCIT in ways that we connect in with community. If you go to the next, the elders on campus, these are some of the support systems you'll see coming into the gathering place. So you'll see Anne Prince, Alf Dumont, Candy, and Carlene. Carlene is a Tsleil-Waututh member. Candy is a Métis Nation member. Alf is Anishinaabe, and Anne is Carrier. And these are elders that will support students on campus. And here at the center, you'll be able to come in, engage, and get to understand and sometimes be guided by the Indigenous knowledge that they share. As well as if you're a student coming from different parts of BC or Canada, we recognize the gathering place as a home away from home. We know that the transition from different communities outside of Burnaby, outside of Vancouver, can be quite challenging. So having the support system of the elders on campus is really key for that transition to happen. We see students come from many different nations, many different backgrounds, and we really look to support, and the elders are a big part. And the next slide is our gathering place itself. Here you'll see a small gathering and looking at ways that we're connecting in regards to admissions. This was actually taken during a strategic enrollment management session where our students were asked questions about best ways to engage with community externally, such as yourself, and look at ways to enhance the pathway for Indigenous students here at BCIT. These were trade students within the Trades Foundation program area. And we looked at ways to support students coming in, looking at best practices, the ways that students would engage with our campus itself. And as you can see from the design of the gathering place, you see that wrapped roof, which is really symbolizing the wrapping of the cedar, wrapping of support for our students as they come in to BCIT. Yeah, it's a space that can be interchanged into different events. And on the next slide, you'll see the wellness sessions. If I got that slide right there. Oh, look, I got that one right. The Indigenous wellness breaks. So we hold different sessions and we can reconfigure the space into things like drum making, cedar weaving, basket making, and we do different crafts, hold of different sorts of events. We've had speaker series, we've had guests come through, we've had graduation events as we look to really enhance the Indigenous voice on the BCIT campuses, look to really enhance the student perspective and really provide a support, because the student pathways in the technology trades and apprenticeship programs can be quite challenging. And also, again, that transition into campus sometimes for a lot of our students can be quite tricky. So looking at ways to support. You'll see here a faculty member that's holding a drum, which is actually, we have a session coming up tomorrow, a drum within our center here. And in the background, you'll see a cedar hat. And those are really ways that we can look at different Indigenous culture, just different Indigenous knowledge keepers and facilitators that will come in and share that knowledge and really engage with community. Students also find it as a great break from their classes when there's time. I know Shelby will talk a little bit about when that little time there is, but they find it as a really escape from some of that day-to-day, those day-to-day stresses, and a place really to let go and have culture, have Indigenous knowledge really support and calm some of those stresses. Let's go to the next slide. Getting into some of those peer support networks. As I mentioned with Snueliao and the passing of knowledge from one to the next, really lies within some of our Indigenous student champions. You'll see Kobe, you see Kobe there. There's a student, Maya, and there's also other students that are taking part in the Indigenous Culture Club, the Indigenous Student Champion booth. This is on campus at the start of semester. And we really look for students in second year and above programs to come and help support first year students such as yourself coming into the BCIT, coming into the amazing programs. And I'm going to now hand it over to one of our Indigenous student champions. If you go to the next slide, I believe it's just a role model speaker slide. And then I'm going to pass it over, if you scroll to the next slide, to Shelby, who really has come into BCIT, has been a big part of our department, and is working towards her accounting diploma currently and has many different roles, which I'll let her share. Shelby, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I just threw that picture up there. I hope that worked.
I know, and I noticed this. This picture was surprising. I think Zaz pulled this off of my LinkedIn. So very great to see. Hi everybody, I am Shelby, like Zaw said. I am a Métis descent and I'm in my second year of the accounting diploma at BCIT. So BCIT is quite intense, and the accounting program is definitely not easy. So I definitely just wanted to express my appreciation to Zaw and Celeste and the whole team with Indigenous Initiatives for providing such a wonderful space for students to come and relax and unwind and have wellness breaks, like he said. For me personally, like before I started BCIT, I didn't really know what being Métis meant to me. I wasn't really raised in the culture, so I found that I kind of wanted to explore that. And they've really provided me a great place to do that and not only learn more about myself and my own culture, but about so many other people. And it's just like a wonderful place to learn and then build friendships. And I've made so many close relationships with so many peers there. So if you're a student joining BCIT, I definitely recommend that you check out the center. It's such a wonderful place to be. So a little bit about why I chose BCIT from a student perspective. I came here because I was working full-time for many, many years. I was a bookkeeper, and I just felt like I wanted to push myself further in my career. And I felt like BCIT was kind of the best place to do that in the quickest path, but also while gaining the most extensive knowledge that I can. So I quit my full-time job to join BCIT, which is incredibly stressful. And another thing that I'd really like to just talk about is the support that ZA has provided and everybody else has provided with Indigenous Initiatives. There's a lot of opportunities for students. There is scholarships, there's just support. The elders are there. I know people are leaving their communities, and that can be really challenging. I know for me, I don't really have a lot of family support, so it's been really great having that at BCIT. And then, so the accounting program, I guess I could talk about that for a little bit, is very intense, like I touched on. You're in 6 to 7 to 8 classes a term. So it is a lot. If anybody here is interested in that and they'd like to talk to a student, please reach out to me. I think Zah can probably connect you to me. We're going into midterms, so I'm a little busy right now, but I can try and find time. So at BCIT, I guess kind of want to talk about how I feel like Indigenous students are represented, which I feel like it's getting a lot better, but there's still a lot lacking. I know for me, I feel like it's a personal goal of mine to kind of bring more inclusivity into the program. So I'm hoping to kind of get that going this year and work with the program heads to start implementing some policies in that sense. And yeah, and as a peer champion, I feel like a responsibility to sort of educate people about what's going on in Canada and what's gone on. I know a lot of people, especially international students who aren't from here, don't really know about our history. And I think having that knowledge is the first step towards reconciliation. So I think it's really important to take the time to learn. Yeah, so I guess I just like to support students the best I can in that. I also found that in my first year, it was very overwhelming at BCIT. So I think it's really important when students can support students in that matter. And yeah, I feel like BCIT has provided a lot of opportunities for support in that sense. In the accounting program, we're provided many opportunities to network. And I've met a lot of wonderful people. It's really interesting learning about diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in different public accounting firms, and kind of like seeing how I see myself proceeding into this career as a person of Métis descent, which is very important to me. I think that diversity in the workplace is incredibly important. So I'm very excited to see how that will go on in the future as these big corporations are including that more and more. Through one of these events as well, I was able to connect with PwC, who's here tonight, and learn about some like really great initiatives that they have that I also had no idea about. Yeah, I'm not sure what else. I don't usually do these things, so it's a little stressful for me, but yeah, I just feel like I really wanted to get across how wonderful the staff are here at BCIT, and like what a great place they provide. And if anybody here like wants to get some student insight about BCIT, please reach out to me. And then if you're on campus, just stop by. It's a really wonderful place to unwind. It's very, very nice. You can take a nap, and then somebody might come and put a blanket over you, and then that's just wonderful. Yeah, so I think I'll just pass it back to Zal.
Thank you, Shelby. And you're such an important part of the department. The way that you engage on a day-to-day basis with us as staff and the other students really makes a difference in people's lives. And I think from what I've seen, just with the effects of COVID, moving through that and really having an open and honest space to engage with other, people is really important. And yeah, I really appreciate you also just sharing the strength of your culture and the growth that's happening there. And that's something that you share quite openly. And I know students on this Zoom are probably like, wow, that's awesome. But then also just looking at students in our center as well that are really taking that in. So you truly are a role model, Shelby. And just to share a little bit, Shelby was recently at a networking session, and she, leading into our next guest, Shelby was at a networking session, and she came back to our center and shared that with our staff. And Clara's name popped up, who's here from PwC. And there was some initiatives being taken that were looking at Indigenous and those within the Black community and those in equity deserving groups. And, it was nice to hear that that was happening. As Shelby's mentioned, there's lots of work to do. We see this with Indigenous Vision at BCIT. It's moving, but of course, there's many more steps to take, right? And with Shelby sharing about PwC, and we reached out. So Shelby provided all the contact info and reached out. And Clara's here to join us today to tell us a little bit about PwC and the initiatives they're taking. But Shelby, thank you. And I think we'll come back at the end just in case there's any questions from the people that are on Zoom or viewing today. But if we go to the next slide, I'd like to welcome PwC. And there's one more after this. And Clara, the next slide has Clara, I think's picture on there. And yeah, it would be great to hear a little bit more on how the mentor and inclusion diversity at PwC is happening, and how the PwC Canada Scholarship Mentorship Program is moving. Clara, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Za. I'm Clara, so I'm here on behalf of PwC to give you some insight on the never-ending opportunities available to you as a student and as a new grad, as well as our commitment to inclusion and diversity, like Shelby said, but also, most importantly, to highlight our scholarship and mentorship program. But before that, I'll probably talk about, who I am and what PwC even does. So myself, my name is Clara. I'm the campus recruiter for PwC's Vancouver office. So what I specifically do is specifically recruit for the campus CPA program. So students who are hoping to become accountants and they're looking for summer internships, co-ops, their first full-time job out of university. I'm the go-to to support students in that area. Now going into just who we are as a firm and some of the opportunities that are available. I'll go into some of our firm facts really quickly. So we are very global. So across the world, we have 156 country locations, but within Canada, we have about 7,400 employees across the nation. From Vancouver all the way to Halifax, we have 21 offices across Canada. And then going into our next slide, so our purpose as a firm and what's really driving us at the end of the day is to build trust in society and solve important problems. So what our vision is as a firm is to create leaders, inspire people, bringing different perspectives together to achieve what matters most. And I know I have a video, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to skip that if that plays. So I'll go into who we are. So very high level, going down to the bread and butter of what we actually do. When it comes down to it, we are a accounting and professional services firm, and how I like to break it down, it's in 4 areas. So number 1, consulting and deals, and within our CPA accounting group, we have assurance and tax, and lastly, internal firm services. Consulting is rather self-explanatory, but there's a range of teams that you can be on that aligns with your interests and skills. From technology transformation to HR consulting, there's really an area for almost anyone who's interested in this. Now, within accounting roles, if you're someone like Shelby and you know you like accounting, we have roles in assurance and tax. So basically within assurance, our teams look at the operations, activities, and transactions of our various clients, making sure that they're properly reflected in financial statements to provide assurance for different stakeholders like banks, regulators, and the government. So really to create integrity and trust in our systems. Now within tax, very self-explanatory. You're giving advice to companies on how to structure their company, on different tax implications for transactions. Now, IFS, internal firm services, if none of these are speaking to you, if you're someone who's interested in marketing or HR, really helping employees within that company, that's something like what I do. So that might be an area that fits in with you. Now, I understand I might be throwing words at you that's totally going over your head, and that's okay. We have a lot of opportunities for you to learn more about the work we do and find places that actually align with you. Now, going into our values in the next slide. So while we are a very diverse team of professionals, at the end of the day, our purpose and values are shared. So these guide us in every decision that we make. So our 5 values are care, make a difference, reimagine the possible, work together, act with integrity. When I applied to PwC, all of these really spoke to me, especially reimagine the possible. So being in an environment where you are encouraged to challenge the status quo, and whether you are an intern or a senior manager, you're encouraged to speak up. If you think something could be better, could be changed, you're encouraged to speak up. Now, going into our next slide at inclusion and diversity. So at PwC, we are committed to building an equitable and inclusive workplace for everyone. So making sure that you have a place of belonging and you're given the opportunities to really reach your full potential. Now, we recognize the challenges and barriers that diverse individuals face when it comes to things like systemic racism, and we're really intentional about how we hire and support talent that's Black, Indigenous, female, LGBT+, racialized, or persons with disabilities, and we're constantly looking at our hiring process to make sure that we are, taking a look at our unconscious bias. Now, through our student programs, we hire and nurture professionals who come from a lot of different backgrounds and cultures. So again, we're willing to challenge that status quo and change things when we see necessary. So we have a lot of different policies and programs that you might see on the slide. For example, our inclusion mindset badge. So what this is a program that employees can take to really, again, reflect on any unconscious biases that you may have, the inequities that exist within Canada, and most importantly, being a strong ally to different groups around. Now, with that, we're also thoughtfully engaging in the challenging work of reconciliation and seeking to build a new relationship between non-Indigenous and Indigenous peoples in Canada, grounded in mutual trust and respect. So one huge part of that is educating and learning. So we have a online mandatory training course for all of our staff and partners called the 4 Seasons of Reconciliation. So this is to ensure that employees are learning more about truth and reconciliation and reflecting openly and honesty about the reality of Canada's past. Now, I'll go into a bit more of our inclusion networks in the next slide and what they are. So what our inclusion networks are voluntary and employee-led groups that come together based on common interests, backgrounds. So they're very grassroots groups that play a critical role in how we support the various needs of our staff and partners. So as you can see, there are a lot of different ones, such as Parents at PwC, Black Professionals Inclusion Network, as well as the Women's Inclusion Network. So there are a lot of benefits to getting involved, including networking, professional development, and just having a support network that when a group where you'd identify as and you have that community and space for people who share a similar experience with you. But you could also join as an ally to foster that inclusive environment and to learn and grow about the experiences of those around you who may be different. Now, why I'm here, in the next slide, we have a program called the PwC Canada Scholarship, Mentorship, and Program. This is the 3rd year in the running of this, and I understand a lot of you are aspiring students at BCIT. So this program is actually towards students who are currently students at a Canadian institution, but I'm pretty sure there will be a 4th year. So taking in mind that external scholarships like this could also be available next year. But just to go into what this program is, it was part of our effort to create a more diverse and inclusive workplace, to address any existing systemic barriers, and also to provide that opportunity to develop the various skills of these groups. So hence, this came into existence. And just to go in a bit about what this program is, It's to provide financial support to post-secondary students who are Black, Indigenous, and or students with disabilities. So these are students who could be studying in business programs as well as especially STEM students, because a lot of our consulting roles, we want students with different backgrounds, and a lot of those students can fall into STEM. So I know a lot of part of this is how do I become eligible? We also all are looking for students who demonstrate our 5 PwC professional attributes that I'll go into further in the next slide, but a bit more about the scholarship and mentorship program. So each scholarship is $5,000, and we have about 25 to be awarded this year. So with all scholarship recipients, they're paired with a PwC professional, and they'll provide mentorship and coaching for 1 year, as well as attend any mentorship events that are hosted by the campus inclusion and diversity team at PwC as well. And all scholarship recipients, they'll receive a optional offer paid employment at PwC. I want to note that for students who are interested, that we know things come up. So whether students choose to accept or deny the paid employment, that doesn't impact your ability to receive the scholarship. I think there might be questions at the end that I can definitely answer. But that is mostly it for the scholarship. And I'll go into the next slide about our leadership approach. Big question is students are curious about, I might not have a lot of corporate experience or too much experience in the workplace. That's okay, because what we are looking for, it's not how many years of experience you have, but the mindset and the attitude that you have, which is something that we can't teach to students. So the PwC professional framework, so the things like relationships, whole leadership, being global and inclusive, these are things that we are looking for not only at PwC Canada, but all PwCs across the globe. So we have the same framework for how we hire talent and how we develop you as a leader. Now, you also get many opportunities to be a leader from the very start of your career. So we're constantly working in teams. So this allows you the chance to step up and lead through numerous projects. Now, I know we're kind of getting past time, so I'm going to pick it up and finish this so we can all get dinner. I'll pass it back to Za.
That's awesome, Clara. Thank you so much. And it was really nice to see the connection that you have made with Shelby, but also the great work that you're doing. And it really reflects BCIT's support, not only for students that are coming in, current students, but also the pathways to the many different pathways to industry, and the ways that you can connect in and really funnel right into a job, or have some scholarships and awards and mentorship programs through industry connections. This builds on what we support here at the center, and this is something that we really look for students such as Shelby to provide guidance on. And it's really nice to see that Shelby is connected in and supported not only other students, but the pathways for students such as yourself watching and those on campus to go into companies such as PwC. So thank you, Clara. Thank you, Shelby. Just to wrap it up, we're over time. This is some of the pieces around our Indigenous vision. If you go to the next slide, we just want to thank you so much. We'll have some time for the questions, which is the next slide. And then just a reminder about the 1,000 or the prize if you do enroll with the Big Info session, $1,000 for tuition. But we are here for a little bit longer if there's any questions that come up. But we want to thank everyone for joining us today. Shelby, Claire, myself, the Indigenous Initiatives team really look forward to seeing you on campus here in Burnaby and across our other campuses. So Masi Cho, OCM, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a great night.